Good morning and welcome. My name's Stephen McDonald, and about to jump up and join me is Amber Williamson, and we're your facilitators for this morning. That's an interesting name, but it's hosts, conveners, whatever. So welcome to the first ever of these sessions, and this is for all of us a new exercise. It's a new exercise in terms of trying to run these sorts of sessions to open up the meeting to consumers, patients and their carers. It's also a new exercise for us in the terms of there's people in the room, but there's also people online, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So at times during the morning, if I seem a little nervous and looking at cameras and so on, it's only because I don't know what to do. Welcome, and as part of the welcome, we should acknowledge that the land we are sitting on and the land we are speaking on is land of the Gadigal people and the Eora Nation, and we acknowledge that their traditions and their customs are just as important today as they ever have been. Today's session has been organised by something called Beat CKD, which you can see there, which is a joining together of a number of organisations in partnership with KHA, Kidney Health Australia. But the nephrological organisations are the ANZ Data Registry, the Kidney Trials Network, and the Cochrane collaboration, and CARI, the Guidelines Network. And you'll hear a little bit more about those, I suspect, as the morning goes on. But associated with that organisation, there is a consumer advisory board, which many of you are part of, and that is around about 35 people, patients and carers and families who've met for the first time in June, either in person or online. And one of the things we talked about was the feedback from some consumer engagement workshops we had last year, and the very strong feedback from those workshops is some of the favourite sessions were the sessions presented by researchers about what is happening in the world of research today, what's going to be different in 5 years' time or 25 years' time. And that was the genesis of today's sessions, is the very strong feedback that people want to know what's happening now in the world of kidney disease research. Amber's not just a colour, she's a concept. Take it away.
Welcome everyone. It's such a great privilege to be standing here. My name's Amber Williamson and I'm a kidney transplant patient of 16 years. I've lived and breathed the life of kidney disease from the age of 19, and you'll hear a little bit more about my story later on the day. Using a PD, peritoneal dialysis, automated peritoneal dialysis, hemodialysis, and then obviously transplant. But what a privilege for us all to be here side by side, and patients included. And I think we as patients are so excited to have the consumer voice strongly represented today. It's an honour and a privilege for us all to be here today, and I think this is the start of so much more to come. This is the start of us actually receiving and learning more about kidney disease, truly understanding what it is that we're living and breathing every single day. We know how it feels, but let's learn, let's get hungry for knowledge, and let's learn more about kidney disease in general, and hopefully today will be the part of that. And as Stephen said, our consumers that are part of Beat CKD were the ones that decided that this would be a wonderful opportunity for us to hear more, hear what's going on in the kidney community and research community, and for us to learn more. We'd like to thank Baxter for their kind and generous support today. I think Michelle's going to be popping in and out of the room today. Please say hello to her in the breaks. But without the support of organisations like Baxter, we wouldn't be able to get the interconnectivity throughout all of the other states throughout Australia. So it's not only us here in this room today, but it's also everyone else online. So it's very exciting. Also, as we said, we've got consumers joining us electronically. We've actually got an email that we're going to be collecting throughout the day. So we've got interaction with the audience here and audience out in the online community. So if we can ask the online community to email Stephen at anzdata.org.au, and the email's up on the screen now. Also, it wouldn't be today's age, modern age, without a hashtag. So we'd like to actually encourage everyone to hashtag their presence here at hashtag ANZSN 2018, hashtag patients included. I'm sure that today is going to be a wonderful and informative day for us. Also, I'm a bit of I love imagery and photos. So I just wanted to ask you if anyone's adverse to being included in photos today, if you could actually let Talia know. Is Talia walking around in the room? She might be a greeter outside the registration desk, but we might have roving photographers taking photos throughout the day. But enjoy, welcome. To start off today's presentations, we'd actually like to firstly introduce Dr. Shilpa Judism. Shilpa is a staff nephrologist and chair of the clinical research group at the Royal Adelaide Hospital, Central Northern Adelaide, Renal and Transplant Services. She's also the National Clinical Director of Kidney Health Australia and has done an amazing job over the last couple of years. Months and years with her time with Kidney Health Australia, so we really appreciate that. Her clinical and research interests include pregnancy and parenthood in patients with kidney disease. And as the chair of the clinical research group at the Adelaide Hospital, she leads a number of patient-centred studies and also improves clinical care and practice. So I'd like to introduce you Dr. Shilpa, and she's going to actually just introduce what today's all about and give us an introduction to kidney disease in general, which for some of us in the audience I've just spoken to a few people and it might be the first time they're learning about kidney disease, whereas for some of us are probably a little bit more knowledgeable. But Shilpa, welcome to the stage and we look forward to hearing from you.
Good morning, everyone who's here and everybody who's online, and thank you so much for joining us. So my task is really just to set the scene about kidney disease, why we're interested in kidneys, and really just give a background explanation of the importance of kidney function. As a nephrologist, I believe the kidney is the most important organ in the body, and I hope you all agree with me. Kidney function is essential for life, and anyone who's been through the dialysis and transplant process understands how essential kidneys are. They are a very hard-working organ. They filter all of the toxins and wastes out of our body. They are responsible for keeping the amount of water in our body in balance, keeping the salts and chemicals and a whole host of different molecules in our bodies and blood in balance. They regulate our blood pressure. People may not know that they also help keep our bones healthy and help make blood cells so that we're not anemic. And so happy kidneys mean a happy patient. And without kidney function, people will have a number of issues relating to many organ systems in their body. So this is just an example of how complex our kidneys are. So we have the whole kidney, but within that kidney, each kidney has about 1 million nephrons, which are the filtering units of the kidney. And you're born with the number of nephrons that you're born with. If you're born premature or under certain circumstances, you don't get as many nephrons when you're born. And what you have is what you have for life. We can't make new nephrons. And the whole structure of the nephron is very complicated, and I want you to keep this in mind when our next speaker tries to explain to you his work about growing this functional unit of the kidney in the laboratory. There are many different components here, including blood vessels and whole other sorts of support structures, and it is quite complicated. And I think, you know, this structure was defined many years ago, before we had all of the sophisticated technology, through lots of really hard work by a number of scientists. So that's the glomerulus, which is the filtering unit of the kidney that does all the hard work. So many of you might know the term GFR. Your doctors and nurses might talk to you about this concept of what your GFR is. And that stands for glomerular filtration rate. And the picture that you're seeing here is the G part of GFR. And you have 1 million of these in each kidney, and they are the workhorses of the kidney. Massive ball of capillaries doing all of that filtering work, and really a very beautiful and sophisticated structure that has many more components to it when you really drill down. And if we cut this in cross-section, this is what it looks like. All of these capillary loops and lots of different cells. The little blue dots are all the different cells within the kidney, and you can see, or within the glomerulus, you can see that it requires many cells to make up this very complicated structure. So the kidney is marvellous. At any one time, it's got about 1/6 of your total blood volume and heart's output sitting in it. It can filter up to 180 litres of your blood a day, and from that it can concentrate out the waste products and the water that you don't need to make just 1 or 2 litres of urine. It works twice as hard in pregnancy, which is something that can be a bit of a challenge for our kidney patients who become pregnant. Within the kidney there are more than 25 different cell types. So again, keep that in mind when Tom talks to you about his work in a moment. Kidney disease is caused by many different things, and there's a list here. There are many other causes that aren't as common, but by far and away in our society, diabetes is the main cause of kidney disease. When I started my career in nephrology, it was IgA nephropathy, but diabetes has taken over. And it's a major public health problem. 1 in 10 Australians have got features of chronic kidney disease. But because you can lose up to 90% of your kidney function and not have symptoms, less than 10% of people with kidney disease or who are at risk of kidney disease are actually aware that they have this problem. And this is something that we at Kidney Health Australia and the kidney community are really trying to battle with, to raise awareness of kidney disease, because if picked up early, there are things that can be done to slow its progression and prevent that end-stage kidney failure. So this is the iceberg pictorial of what's happening with kidney disease in Australia. At the tip, we have those people who are on dialysis or who've got a kidney transplant, the end stage. But underpinning that are millions more people who are actually at risk of kidney disease or have the earliest stages of kidney disease. And they're the group that we really want to focus on and capture, as well as support our patients with end-stage kidney failure. So that's it from me. I'd like to now hand over to Dr. Tom Forbes. He is a kidney specialist, a paediatric nephrologist, and is in the 2nd year of his PhD with the Murdoch Children's Research Institute, essentially trying to tackle the problem of kidney disease by growing new kidneys in the laboratory. So welcome, Tom.